This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Lockdown Coverage, week number 8. The National Football League, Houston Texans, Seattle Seahawks. What a game. Period. We had an epic game on Thursday night between the Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we all thought that that would be hard to top. And maybe this game wasn't better. At least the ending wasn't better, obviously. But for what it's worth, this probably start to finish was a better game than that game. This was a hell of a football game between two really good teams. I'll say this about the Texans because the vast majority of what's going to be discussed tonight will probably be about the Seahawks. The Texans, I'll talk about Deshaun Watson, obviously, and what he's done. And he's just pushing the limits of what a rookie quarterback should be able to do coming into the league. And he's extending the boundaries of what we are supposed to expect from a rookie quarterback. This is amazing. He's ridiculous. We'll get to him in a second. But I want to say this about the Texans as a whole before I get to Seattle and what they did in this game, because you know I'm a staunch Seattle Seahawks supporter. I told you when everybody continues to tell me I'm crazy, I'm wrong, that they're going to win that division. And I said that 3 weeks ago before they went to Los Angeles and beat the Rams. I said Seattle's going to win this division. And I said somehow, some way, they're going to get better offensively. They're going to wake up. But we're going to talk about that. But I just want to say this. I just want to toss this out here, and you do with this what you want. Okay? Deshaun Watson got to Houston a year too late. Deshaun Watson got to Houston a year too late. Let that sink in. Let that marinate. We'll come back. We'll talk about that. You know what I mean by that. If you don't, I will explain myself a little bit later on. But we're going to talk about the Seahawks getting this epic win at home, getting the 5-2 on the season, tying the Rams for first place in that all of a sudden now tough NFC West. And I already said it was a two-team race. I told you that a long time ago. I never believed in the Arizona Cardinals. Well, they're done now. They're out of the race. It's a two-team race. And I can't wait to see that whole thing unfold. But we're going to talk about this game and what it means for both teams moving forward, the takeaways from this game, and just this game in general, because it was such a good game. But in any event, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. Look, man, we're changing the game over here. I want you to be a part of it by simply hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I've got a number of social media platforms that you can use to be in tune to what's going on here on this channel. There's Twitter, Instagram. Those are your two most prevalent ones. There's Facebook, there's YouTube, and YouTube probably supersedes all of them. So I take that back. Because you turn on the notifications on YouTube, you turn on the notifications on Twitter, there's no way, there's no reason you shouldn't know when I go live. No excuses. All of those links to those social media platforms down in the description below this video. So please check that out and get comfortable with those, because that's going to keep you in sync to what's going on here on the Louie T Network. That being said, if you're out there right now and you're watching this video and you are looking for lost my train of thought. Sorry. If you are watching this video and you want your comment to be read and it's pertinent to what we're discussing, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read at the end of this breakdown, as I will go through the comments, read them, and we can converse back and forth and chop it up and talk about this game and the ramifications, the fallout, and what's good for both of these teams moving forward. Also, if you can, I urge you to donate to this channel, to the Louie T Network. Those are the two means by which you have to donate, via Patreon and PayPal. Those are the two links that you see before you. And those same two links are down in the description along with all the other links that I have for this channel and my different social media platforms. So please, by all means, donate to this channel if you can. I'd greatly appreciate it. It'll help this channel take the next step a lot faster if you are able to contribute to this channel. That being said, let's talk about this game because it was epic. And who knew the Seattle Seahawks could score 41 points? We saw them score 43 earlier in the season against the Colts. That was the Colts, man. That wasn't the Houston Texans. Who knew they had 41 points in them? Who knew that this game was going to turn out into an all-out shootout? Who knew? Boy, this was a lot of fun to watch. And let's start on the offensive side with the Seahawks because there's been a narrative going around. I don't know if you guys as Seahawks fans have heard it or not. But there was a narrative going around that Russell Wilson isn't good from the pocket. He can't stand in there and deliver the football. And a lot of the team's struggles stem from his inability to just stand in the pocket and deliver the football. Have you heard that? Because I've heard it a couple of times this year, and I'm like, what? Where are you getting this from? And, you know, I've always been one to think that a lot of the struggles of this team offensively stems from, one, health. You know, their skill guys seem to be in and out, tagging each other in and out of the lineup, whether it's Lockett or it's P. Rich or it's Jimmy Graham. They seem to be tagging each other in and out of the lineup. Injuries galore. Doug Baldwin's been dealing with nagging injuries, but he's gutted it out. But injuries, it's number one. Guys getting injured along the offensive line. The running back position, don't get me started on the injuries there. So injuries, number one for me. Number two, offensive line. That's always been my top two reasons why they've struggled offensively. And then number three would be the inconsistencies of Russell Wilson. But when he's got time, he's usually throwing dimes. That's always been my assessment of Russell Wilson. When he's got time, he's throwing dimes. But I've been hearing this narrative. Russell Wilson can't throw from the pocket. Yeah, he's a little short. He's diminutive. He throws it just fine if you ask me from the pocket. Ask the Houston Texans if he has a problem throwing it from the pocket. We know he can create off schedule. He's the best in the league at that. When he starts running around like Fran Tarkenton and running backwards 12 yards and rolling out to his left and running to his right and then throwing back across his body, there's nobody in the business better. We all know about that. There was a touchdown in this game to P. Rich in the end zone where he runs backwards, then scrambles to his left, then turns around, stops, pivot, throws back across his body to P. Rich, who's coming across the end zone from left to right, or in the case of the offense, from right to left. And he's got two receivers. The Angry Bird was right behind him, diving, trying to catch it. And P. Rich ended up cutting in front of him, who the ball was intended for, and to catch a touchdown. But how many times did they go play action fake and Russell Wilson sit in the pocket and deliver dimes in this game? How many times did he do that? And I said to myself, the run game isn't even a factor, and yet they're running play action fake. They ran play action fake like 9 straight times in this game in the fourth quarter at one point, late in this ball game. I'm like, running isn't even working. Why are you running play action? Russell Wilson was your leading rusher in this game. Who the hell is falling for play action fake? Those damn Texans linebackers. Why are you falling for play action fake is the real question. Because the run game was non-existent. It was all Russell Wilson's show in this game. He threw for over 400 yards. Hell, both quarterbacks threw for over 400 yards in this game. Both quarterbacks led their teams in rushing in this game. It was a quarterback show in this game. And Russell showed the young fella, I know you're trying to imitate me. You want to be like me. I'm going to show you how it's done. I show you how to do this, son. Show them how to do it. And I thought he was phenomenal. I thought Russell Wilson was phenomenal in this game. I thought the receivers were phenomenal. For once, it was good to see everyone pick up the slack of the Angry Bird. Every week, it's the Angry Bird with 11 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown, and he's the only guy getting it done at the receiver position. It was nice to see Lockett say, hey, we got you, man. You can take the week off. P. Rich said, nah, we really got you, bro. You can take the week off. We got you. That was nice. That was refreshing. And in midst of all of the trade rumors swirling about Jimmy Graham, he's a man, being traded, and Pete Carroll having to come out and say, that's absolutely BS. We're not trading him, which usually means, hey, we're listening, and if you call, we'll pick up the phone. When someone comes out and adamantly, vehemently denies, that usually means a guy's on the trading block. That being said, it's good to see Jimmy come up with 2 huge touchdown grabs, including the game winner, to win this game down the stretch. He needed to make some plays. He's been disappointed. Don't tell me the Seahawks aren't disappointed in what they've gotten out of Jimmy Graham. They're disappointed. They thought they were getting more. They were wrong. So it was good to see Jimmy step up and make some plays. But this was all about Russell Wilson. And if you get this Russell Wilson moving forward, and that's the problem with Russell Wilson and this Seattle Seahawks offense, is that you can get this Russ. You can get this Russ. Remember last year? There's like a 5-week stretch of this Russ right here, where you're like, man, if this Seattle team gets it going into the playoffs, they're going to be a tough team to deal with. And right before the playoffs, Russ turned it off. He turned that switch off. He had it going for like a 5-week stretch where they were scoring like 30 points every week. And right before the playoffs, that switch went off. And they got dealt with quickly. Rapidio. But in any event, he was outstanding in this game. It was a quarterback duel, literally, back and forth. Watson and Wilson. Toe-to-toe. Mano-a-mano. The defenses, take them out of the equation. Both of them got shredded in this game. But it was Wilson that, at the Mr. Wilson, dangerous Russell Wilson, that came up clutch for his team. This was fun to watch. And at their peak, this is what the Seahawks offensively can be. Yeah, Russ is going to have to run around and extend plays. Yeah, guys are going to have to step up like P. Rich, like Tyler Lockett, like Jimmy Graham. But, hell, like Tyler McAvoy, who caught a deep ball in this game. And how the hell do you get 2 receivers in the same spot like that? Somebody had to run a wrong route. But in any event, Russ was just on in this game. He just was. He wasn't missing. He didn't miss the deep ball. He didn't miss open receivers. He was pinpoint accurate in this game. And if you get this Russ, this is going to be a... And I said it already. This team is winning the division. I haven't moved off of the spot. I told you that going into the Rams game that I expected them to win. It wasn't pretty. And it took like 19 turnovers, but they won that game against the Rams in Los Angeles. And I think they're going to win the division. And this was a big game. They had to have this one. Just from a psyche and a mental standpoint, they need that edge at home. They need that psychological advantage. You don't come into Seattle and win. You don't. They needed that. Their 2 losses on the road this year. At Tennessee, at Green Bay. You don't come into Seattle and win. It doesn't have to be as dominant as it used to be. It just needs to be the fact that teams know you don't go into CenturyLink and expect to win. And they protect their house. It was not pretty from a defensive standpoint, which we'll get to in a second. But by any means necessary, you protect the house. And look, every week your defense isn't going to have it. That's when the offense has to step in and say, we got you this week. Special teams may need to chip in a week or two and say, hey, we got you this week. Offense stepped up this week and said, hey, we'll pick up your slack. Don't worry. And they got it done. And Russell Wilson was extraordinary in this game. He was outstanding. He was phenomenal. You go to the defense, and they were gutted in this game. I thought they were gonna bring Deshaun Watson crashing back down to earth. I literally thought they were gonna turn him over, you know, and they turned him over 3 times. He threw 3 picks in this game. It's not like he was clean and flawless. I mean, Dick Sherman got him twice. Pick 6 for arguably the best safety in the league in Earl Thomas. They got him. They got to him. It's not like he was unblemished in this game, but you're not used to seeing the Seattle Seahawks defense give up 38, and when they need a stop, not be able to get it. After that first Jimmy Graham touchdown, to give them a 34-31 lead, that was supposed to be it. The defense was supposed to lock them up. Throw away the key. That was supposed to be it. And instead, they give up a 72-yard nuke wide receiver screen to the crib to make it 38-34. Yikes! What was that, 2 plays? They in the end zone? Damn! That quick you giving it up? And as fast a start as this offense got off to, the Texans were there every step of the way. Oh, you going to score a touchdown? We going to do that too. We about to. Will Fuller deep over the top of your defense, Shaquille Griffin, and Earl Thomas getting smoked. Can't happen. I know he's fast. I know Will Fuller's really fast. I know. 11 catches on the season, 7 of them for touchdowns. I know. Trust me, I know. But damn, you know he's fast. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't fall asleep behind the wheel. Don't do that. Not used to seeing this defense do that. Well, I was early in the season last year where you were giving up big plays and there were a bunch of defensive breakdowns and miscommunications. But that was early last year when Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas were just coming back into the fold, and you had to work out all the kinks. Yeah, it was a little bit of a different change there. I get it. I understand. I'm not used to seeing that now. And yeah, the Legion of Boom's getting a little bit older, and you're trying to infuse a little bit of youth with Shaquille Griffin into that secondary, Jeremy Lane, whatnot. But the core of that group, they're getting a year older. And so, yeah, big plays are being made. Watson, one thing I love about rookies is they don't know no better, man. They don't know no better. F your Dick Sherman, man. I'm supposed to stay away from him for what? Not afraid of him. Now, he did throw 2 picks messing around with Dick Sherman. Okay? Yeah, but see, veterans know better. Oh, that's Dick Sherman over there. I'm a proceed with caution. I'm going to tread lightly. Rookies don't know no better, man. I got a beast over there in Nuke. I'm going to throw him the football, whether Dick Sherman's on him, Shaquille Griffin, Jeremy Lane. I don't give a damn who's checking him. I'm throwing the ball to my man. My man's in them. This Seattle defense, they were good against the run for the most part in this game. And every so often, there was some nice runs in there by Miller and company, but this was about Deshaun Watson and that offense throwing the football all over your defense. But when plays had to be made, you got pressure on Watson. When plays had to be made, when you needed a stop to get the football back to your offense after Russell Wilson threw a back-breaking pick. Can't throw a pick there if you're Russell Wilson. Cannot throw a pick in that situation. Luckily enough, your defense did bail you out there. Can't throw a pick right there. Forgot to mention that when I was talking about, you cannot throw an interception at that juncture of the game at that moment. You cannot do it. But that being said, the defense, say what you want about them, and yeah, they gave up a ton of yards and a ton of points. When they had to have it, they got it. They got to stop to get the football back to the defense after the 2-minute warning, or the offense back after the 2-minute warning. They got the pick at the end to seal it. They got the pick 6 when they were reeling. Remember, they were down 7-0 after the Will Fuller the 5th bomb. Defense went out and got a stop for the Texans. Got the football back to Deshaun Watson. They were driving for more points. You were on the ropes. Defense bailed you out with a pick six. So we can say what we want about this defense. They made plays when plays had to be made in this game. They made plays. So it wasn't the prettiest, most aesthetically pleasing defensive performance, but what it was an effective performance that when stops were necessary, the defense rose to the occasion. When they needed to get pressure on Watson, they got pressure. Whether it was Frank Clark or Sheldon Richardson or whomever, they got pressure. When they needed a big play, their big player stepped up. Earl Thomas with a pick six. Dick Sherman with 2 picks in this game. 1 to seal the deal. When they needed plays, their best players stepped up and made plays on the defensive side of the football. So this was fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch. But this defense, got to step it up. You've been lit up a couple of times this year against mobile quarterbacks in the AFC South. Mariota got you. Watson got you. So now there's a little bit of a book out on you. If you got a quarterback that can move a little bit, you can do something against the Seahawks defense. And this goes back to last year. I remember watching Tyrod Taylor tear you a new asshole in the first half of that game last year. Mobile quarterbacks give this team fits. Guys that can get outside the pocket. Guys that can extend plays with their legs. You can do something against this Seahawks defense. So I got my eye on that. Aaron Rodgers has always been a thorn in your side because he can move. That's a little bit of a running narrative right now. I want to see if you can change that. And yes, the Legion of Boom is getting older. But I still think they've got enough in the tank to win this division and make some noise in the NFC playoffs. And if the offense can play like this, and I'm not saying score 41 every week, but the consistency with which Russell Wilson threw the football with, the consistency at which the receivers made plays in this game, if you can do that moving forward, put up 27, 30, 33 moving forward, it's going to be a tough team to beat. Because the biggest question that we had going into this game is, can the Seahawks do enough offensively? Well, they did plenty in this game offensively, and maybe this is the beginning of them hitting their stride offensively. We will see. You go to the Texans in this game, and I want to start with Deshaun Watson. This guy's just been phenomenal. I mean, every start except his first start, the Texans have scored over 30 points. And he's had over 3 touchdown passes. 3 touchdown passes or more. I think this was his 4th straight game of 3 touchdown passes or more. Maybe even 4th, 5th. He did it to Jacksonville. He did it to Tennessee. No, he didn't do it to Jacksonville. He did it to Tennessee. He did it to Kansas City. He did it to New England. He did it to Seattle. I think I'm missing one. I think I'm missing one more game. But he's been phenomenal. Just outstanding. There aren't enough superlatives to describe how good he's been for this Texans team. 400 yards passing. He went toe-to-toe with Russell Wilson in this game. Fell just a little short, just like he did. Went toe-to-toe with Brady. Fell just a little short. But he went toe-to-toe with Brady. He went toe-to-toe with Russell Wilson. You're talking about 2 out of the last 3 Super Bowl winners. He went toe-to-toe with him. This is outstanding. And I'm just floored at what he was able to do in this game. The poise he showed, yeah, he turned it over 3 times. That first pick was a backbreaker, a pick 6. It's one thing to throw an interception, it's another one to throw one, not see the safety on the in-breaking route, and have him take it the distance. That's automatic points. Those hurt. Those mistakes are going to happen. He's a rookie quarterback. But for as good as he was in this game, there aren't many complaints, man. Yeah, he threw 3 picks. He threw 4 touchdown passes in a game that his team should have won. You scored 38 on the road versus Seattle. You're supposed to win. You scored 33 against New England on the road, you're supposed to win. Remember earlier I said that, wait, let's talk about Will Fuller first. God, he's good. It's amazing because I remember that draft like it was yesterday, that draft night, and the Texans trading up one spot with the Redskins to secure Will Fuller the fifth. And there were rumors out there that the Redskins were going to take him, and the Texans wanted to ensure that they got their man, and they went and traded with the Redskins for like a 5th round pick to be able to procure the services of Will Fuller the third or 5th. And the Redskins ended up with Josh Doctson. And it's not even close. When healthy, he's the far superior player. He poses a threat in this league that few do. And he would have been the ultimate, the perfect replacement to Deshaun Jackson in Washington. Like, I lament the fact that the Texans were able to get him. At the time, I loved Doctson. And I still think Doctson can be a really good player in this league, but he'll never live up to what I thought he was going to be. I don't think he can. Will Fuller has already exceeded my expectations for him in this league because I thought there would be far more drops this season than there were. There were a ton of drops last year, but there haven't been many this year. 11 catches, 7 of them have been touchdowns, and probably of those 7 touchdowns, 5 of them are probably 20 yards or longer. He's been outstanding. How many times have I said outstanding in this breakdown? He's been amazing. And I told you, this offense, once he gets healthy, I said this offense is going to take off. Because then you can't double up Nuke. And you see what happens when you can't double up Nuke when he gets single love? You see what happens? 8 for 224 and a score. Yeah, you want more. Let's get to this defense. Remember I said at the top of this show that Deshaun Watson got to Houston a season too late? Here's what I meant by that. You probably already connected the dots. You already knew what I meant by that. But for those of you who didn't, what I simply meant by that was this defense was elite last year and the year before that. Even without Watt last year, this defense was elite. There's no way they're scoring 38 on the offensive side and still losing with the defense they had last year with A.J. Boye at cornerback, with Whitney Merciless getting after the quarterback, with John Simon holding it down with the injuries at the linebacker position. There's no way 2 years ago with a healthy Watt, with A.J. Boye just coming into his own, Whitney Merciless and company, there's no way you're scoring 33 against the Patriots on the road and still losing. He got here a year too late. No Merciless, no Watt, no Boye. He got here a year too late. You stick Watson on last year's roster, they're a Super Bowl contending team. But because this defense is a shell of itself, they're not going to maximize what they should out of the talent that's on this roster. Think about this for a second. Think about this for a second. They're 3-4 right now, are the Texans. They should be 5-2, no less than 5-2. Week 1 was a wash. They started savage. They got their ass whooped. It was a wash. They should have lost to Cincinnati the following week. They should have lost the following week to Cincinnati. They won that game. They should have lost. They had no business winning that game. They caught a break. They shouldn't have lost another game the rest of the season. You want to say they should have lost to Kansas City? Fine. I'll give you that one. But that's it. They should have beat New England. They should have beat Seattle. They should be 5-2 right now. No less than 5-2. Arguably, they could be 6-1 right now. Because I think they could have beat Kansas City with a healthy roster of players. I think they could have beat Kansas City, but that's not here nor there. He got here a year too late because his defense is a shell of itself. Clowney can't do it by himself. There is no other pass rusher. There's no Merciless. There's no Watt. There's no pass rush. Russell Wilson had all day to throw the football, and he carved this defense up. Johnson is okay, but he's not real. I like your corners. I don't love them. I still lament the fact that you let A.J. Boye walk away in free agency. I get it. He got a lot of money. But sometimes you got to pay to keep your stuff, man. You're hurting. You're hurting all over that defense. You're hurting. And you're not going to be able to fix all of the ails that you have this season. You can't fix it. You may get cushion back in a couple of weeks. What is he really going to change, and how healthy is he going to be when he comes back? Is he going to remain healthy? Who knows? But you're not getting Watt or Merciless back this season. A.J. Boye is not walking through that door. It's a different defense. And so, can they grow and get better as the season progresses? Sure. But they'll never be what they were last year or the year before. They'll never be that. And it's a shame because this is what you needed at quarterback. You've been waiting this entire time for this guy to show up to match up with your defense. And now that the guy has shown up that you've been waiting on, the defense isn't up to par. Damn it, man. Isn't that how it always happens? We said the same thing in Washington. We said, man, if this defense could just be better with our offense, who's going to stop us? You lose Garcon and Jackson in the offseason, and you finally get the upgrades on defense you so desperately desired. Now your defense is formidable, but your offense is nowhere near what it once was. It's just how it is, man. It sucks. Because this Texans defense, not what it used to be. You have no business giving up 41 to Seattle. Of all teams, Seattle, who struggles to score on most weeks. Give up 41 to them after scoring 38 of your own against that vaunted defense in Seattle. You know how hard it is to do that? And your rookie quarterback goes out and does that for you, and you still lose the game because you give up 41? 34, really, because Watson gave up 7 himself. Still inexcusable. Let's get to your comments. I've talked long enough. It's a hell of a game. David Johnson says, although Deshaun Watson has been playing phenomenal, it seems as if Bill O'Brien is still being too conservative. I believe that will be his downfall. A lot of people killed O'Brien for the final drive that could have iced the game after the interception that was thrown by Wilson with the 3 runs. They got a first down on those 3 runs. They ran it another 3 times. They almost got another first down. They just came up short. I don't blame him for being conservative. I mean, it's not like Watson didn't throw 3 interceptions in the game, but one pass to Nuke, 1 pass to Fuller, and you win the game. So I understand the comments from people saying that he was too conservative. It is what it is. Netzel's Toy 101 says, why does Russell Wilson never seem to get the credit he deserves? I checked First Things First, Undisputed, and Russell is kind of glossed over. At least that's what it seems. That's not perception versus reality. That's reality. He doesn't get the credit he deserves because a lot of people give the credit to the Seattle Seahawks defense. Oh, it's the team, it's the defense, it's the environment. You know, they don't even give credit to the receivers. They don't give credit to that offense, period. When they win, it's this vaunted Seahawks defense. Oh, you talking about the one that just gave up 38? That one? The one that Russell Wilson and his offense had to bail out with 41 points? Or 34? That one? Yeah. It is what it is, man. I mean, you can't worry about that. The best role is the underdog role. The nobody gives us credit role. That's motivation. Who doesn't love motivation? Motivation is one of the biggest ingredients to success. You feel slighted. No one's giving you a chance. You were told no. That chip that you put on your shoulder, that's huge in winning. Jabbar A says, Can the Texans still win the division, or will the Jags versus the Titans for the AFC South be the end-all be-all? No, the Texans still can win that division. No one has clearly stepped above the rest of the division and said, hey, it's me. Right before the bye week, Tennessee barely got past Cleveland. Jacksonville steamrolled the Colts before the bye, but they win one week, lose the next. We'll see if they can flip the script when they come off the bye or not. But this Texans team is just as good, if not better, than both of those teams. So they're in it. The question is, can the defense play good enough football to allow this offense to do what it is they're doing, which is score a ton of points and have it be enough? Vincent Cole says, do you think the Seahawks offense is only great when they are in tough games like this? Seems like sometimes they just F around too much because they know they can rely on the defense. It's amazing because remember last year, was it last year or 2 years ago, that overtime game with Green Bay? Or it was 2 years ago, the overtime game with Denver. I think it was an epic game with Green Bay a couple years ago in the regular season, I think. We've seen these types of games, 38-30, 38-31. But it's always been against good teams, you're right. I don't know. I don't know if they feel like they can just mess around. I don't know if they feel like that's the case because of the defense. But they shouldn't be confident in the defense any longer. They need to start scoring more points because I think this defense is on the decline as well. So we'll see. Brandon Sullivan says, Russell had a QBR of 145.8 with 20-yard passes, average of 10.5 yards per attempt, and a QBR of 113.5 under pressure. I mean, he was outstanding in this game. I'd love to know his numbers off play action fake in this game because they went a ton of play action fake and he did not miss, it seemed like, throughout this game. Brandon Sullivan says, Ethan Posick is killing it since he got the start. Love that pick. Glad it looks to be working out. I saw him in this game doing some good things as well. I always knew Ethan Posick was going to pan out for this team. It was just at where. You know, where were you going to put him? Guard, center, or tackle? I always thought guard would be the position, but I knew he would end up being really good for you if given the opportunity because he was a really good player at LSU. Brandon Sullivan says, Frank Clark had 9 hurries and 2 sacks according to PFF. Best edge rush performance of the year. I hate Pro Football Focus. I can't stand their statistics. I think it's garbage. But Frank, just the eyeball test alone, Frank Clark was outstanding in the game. He was all over the Texans, including a big stop late in the ball game when they had to have it. I thought Frank Clark was phenomenal in this game. Reese says, I didn't know DeAndre Hopkins was that fast. Yeah, Nuke can go, man. That's the misconception of Nuke, is that he's just a possession receiver that's tough with great hands. He can go much faster than slow. You give him a lane and watch him go. Brandon Sullivan says, our yards per carry without including Russell's stats was 2.11 inches. Could not believe that, man. Hey, your run game stinks right now. But a lot of that is the offensive line, and some of it is your running backs. But a lot of it is your offensive line. They're not very good at run blocking. Pepe the YouTuber says, don't mind me, just a depressed Texans fan, but hot damn Watson is good or what? Yeah, he's outstanding. Reese says, Will Fuller is doing his thing, Lou. I remember you said he is simply electrifying and just needed to work on his game. I bet you're happy for him being a Notre Dame guy. I am, man. I wish we would have got him in the nation's capital, but I love Will Fuller, man. I love what he did in Notre Dame, and he's doing the same exact thing in the league. And I knew he would, because the one thing he has, it translates no matter where you are, high school, college, NFL. He's got the one thing you can't teach. Pure, unadulterated speed. And that translates and exceeds any skill set that you have. You can be the best, most technically sound corner in the league, but you run a 4.5, this guy's going to smoke you. Because he's running a 4-3. 4-2 and some change. Dude is stupid fast. Silver V says, I really felt silly after anticipating the Cam versus Winston matchup to mirror Wilson versus Watson. Boy, was I wrong. That Cam versus Winston game, I knew that was going to be trash. Winston's banged, and Cam hasn't been, and that offense hasn't been playing well. Jabril A says, can the Texans be Super Bowl contenders in the next few years? It all depends on the defense. How steep is the drop-off? Does J.J. Watt come back healthy? Is Whitley Merciless the same guy when he comes back? How do you develop your secondary? Because Jonathan Joseph is going to be a year older. He's getting older. Does Kareem Jackson morph into that guy? The elder statesman's Jonathan Joseph role for this defense? Do you get a safety that is legit back there? There are a lot of questions, but they all really are on the defensive side of football, I think. Reese says, do you think it was just the perfect fit for Watson? He's playing out of his mind way better than I thought he would. I thought it was a tremendous fit for him. I told you, if you get him around, and I remember I said, of all of the rookie quarterbacks, he's the one guy that I think can start and excel right away. Now, did I see this coming? No. I'd be lying to you if I said I did. But I told you he was going to be good. And the fact that he landed somewhere with such dynamic weapons just made it that much easier tonight. It just made it that much easier on him, for sure. Pepe, the YouTuber, says, he did it to the Browns as well, but don't worry, everyone forgets about the Browns. No offense to the Browns fans. That's right, the Browns. I knew I was missing a game. Pepe also says, oh yeah, I just read that. Pepe also says, damn, Lou, you're right. Now I feel even more depressed as a Texans fans. We're cursed, damn it. I don't want you to feel that way. The offense is legit. I just feel like this defense is a shell of itself. And if you could pair him up with the way the offense is playing with the defense of the last 2 years, there's no way this isn't a Super Bowl contending team right now. Netzel's Toys 01 says, is Seattle's pass protection getting better, or is it just Houston messing up? That pass protection is going to get a little bit better, but also it's Russell Wilson. I think Houston's pass rush is garbage without their main horses. So some of that was a byproduct of Houston just not being able to get to the quarterback. But the offensive line is going to get better, believe it or not. The more they play, the better they're going to get. You know, you insert some different pieces in there, you're going to get different results. And so the offensive line, I mean, he had ample time. On these play action fakes, he was turning his back to the defense and just standing back there and loading up and letting it rip. And so credit must be given to that offensive line for sure in this game. Mazer_12 says, I just got here, but what a game, though. Trio of Hopkins, Fuller, and Watson is going to be scary. Absolutely. He also says, it feels weird saying this, but our defense needs to step up. Can't be Watson in the offense by themselves, which is weird to say, which I basically already talked about earlier in this program. And Jabril A says, Russ was looking like he was shooting another commercial out there. JD was losing his mind chasing him with all those near sacks. Yeah, he was. It was crazy because that's all they got is Clowney on the opposite side. And he couldn't catch him. He couldn't catch him. It was ridiculous. Brandon Sullivan says, I looked at the picks from everyone, and if the Chiefs win, then we got 13-0 this week from Joe. I thought I said to myself, this was such an easy week that someone has to go 13-0. Someone has to be perfect because it was too easy to be perfect. All you had to do was pick the Ravens on Thursday, and the rest of these games basically went according to plan. So I said to myself, I haven't looked, obviously, but I said someone's got to have a perfect week if the Chiefs win tonight. Which, with their luck, the Chiefs wouldn't win tonight, but we'll see what happens. But in any event, what a game. What an epic game. Obviously in contention for Game of the Year. Seahawks reigned triumphant over the Houston Texans, 41-38. in a shootout of epic proportions that we simply did not see coming. Deshaun Watson was outstanding despite the 3 interceptions, 4 touchdown passes. Should have been good enough to win. But the Texans defensively just had no answer for Russell Wilson and his cast of characters that included Paul Richardson, Tyler Lockett, and Jimmy Graham. And they were able to get it done 41-38. What a game. Seahawks moved to 5-2, tied the Los Angeles Rams, who were on their bye week, for first place in the NFC West. It's a 2-team race out there. That's going to be fun to watch unfold as this season moves along. Meanwhile, the Texans, another disappointing loss in a game in which our offense did more than their fair share enough to win, and the defense simply could not get a stop at the end. We could kill the defense, but the offense had a chance to win this game with a first down at the end. Defense did get the stop that they needed with the pick. Offense could have iced this game with one more first down, and they simply didn't do it. You could blame play calling there, the conservative nature of Bill O'Brien all you want. That's fine. I'm not going to disagree with you, but find a way to get it done there, and you win the game. Instead, you lose 41-38, and you drop to 3-4 on the season. This Texans team should be 5-2 at worst, but instead they're 3-4 because this defense hasn't been able to get it done in late game situations this season. Wow, what a game. That's going to do it for your man, Louie T. We're done with lockdown coverage for week number 8 in the National Football League. One more game to break down. Monday Night Football, overtime. AFC West family business between the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. So join me back here for Monday Night Football, overtime. Enjoy the game. Enjoy all the festivities leading up to that game's conclusion. And when it's done, you know where to find me here on the Louie T Network. I'll see you then. Have a good one. Enjoy the Monday Night Football game. I'll see you after it's done.